Okay, so for today's project, we will be propagating some pothos and some philodendron. Repurposing these hanging baskets and these pots right here. So I got them all washed off and rinsed out. So the potting soil, it's mostly peat moss. And it's fairly dry. It's moist, but it can hold a lot more moisture. It takes a lot to really hydrate it. That's why I'm doing this right now, and then I'll just let it drain out of the bottom. And while it's doing that, I'll go inside and I'll start cleaning up, or actually dividing up the some of the pothos and the philodendron. So I got some philodendron Brazil right here. And I cut some nodes off of the mother plant about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I really like it, and I don't want to cut any more off. So I'm just going to use them. This is the mother plant I took them off of. I really like it. So I'll be using those ones in one of the pots out there with the poles. And here's some pothos that in early summer, I took about 10 or 15 nodes and stuck them in these repurposed baskets here. I just left them outside, and they really did well. Oh, here's Olie. This is Olie. We haven't introduced Olie yet. Olie! Say hi. He said hi. Yep, that's Olie. You'll be seeing him in the videos, running around in the background. He's my buddy. Here, Olie. You want one of these? Sit. And a paw. Oh, you gave me the paw on your own. There you go. Well, this is Olie. He's my buddy. There you go, Olie. Back over to those golden pothos. So like I said, I put them outside. It was early summer. And look at the variegation it got on them. I'm really happy with that. It's because they were getting a lot of light. And I'm hoping to reproduce a lot of that in those baskets. I'm just real happy with that. They're nice. Okay. And here's the mother plant that they came off of. Right here. And I'll be taking a lot of this off. This needs to get cleaned up. All I'm doing is cutting these nodes off. Right there. And we'll just be sticking that right into the potting soil. Just right into the potting soil, this part right here. And a root will grow out. And it'll start growing a new vine. I've had this plant for quite a while now. And the first time I gave it a home, it was able to stay there for about 6-7 years. Actually, it was about 4 or 5. Boy, it really took off. It just really took off. These vines got about 60 feet long. Seriously, 60 feet. But when I moved and I had to transport it, I had to cut it back. Now it's been growing, I don't know, a couple of years now, maybe. And I want to make a lot of baskets out of it. So that's the reason I'm cutting it back like this. Plus it just didn't look quite like I would like it to look. So I have this Hartleaf Philodendron that I actually found at the grocery store. My daughter told me they were there. Only $10. I picked that up. I want one. The philodendrons and the pothos and the monsterias, those are like, I want to have collections of them. I want to get as many different varieties as I can. Whenever I see a new one, I grab it. I got a few here now. Not as many as I would like though. So we're gonna do the same thing with this guy right here, just not as aggressively. I haven't taken a very close look at this plant yet. I just grabbed it at the grocery store, and it has already been cut back not too long ago. Clean it up a little bit while I'm in here. I'll get that. Clean it up a little. I think what's left here, I think this is going to have a nice shape to it as it grows out. So I'm just going to leave this be. I got enough nodes to definitely do one of the pots with the poles. So I'm just going to stick this back to where I got it from and clean up the nodes that I got. That's all you got to do. Part of the reason for the gravel. The gravel will help keep them heavy and weight it down, especially in the wind when they're outside. But it'll also act as drainage, so they can drain out. I'm going to have them drain out onto these trays here. And then there'll be two other layers on top of that. The second layer is going to be equal parts of this Miracle-Gro potting soil, the perlite for drainage, and orchid mix. That's going to break down slowly over time and release fresh organics. And I'll probably pronounce it wrong with this sphagnum moss. That's for moisture retention. I'm soaking the moss in some warm water right now. I should have did this earlier. It'll absorb a lot of water and expand. I got some rocks on it to help hold it in. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to take some of this potting mix and put it in this tote just to make it easier on myself and quicker. Okay, so I'm going to do equal parts of the potting soil. And then the perlite for the drainage. It also has some slow release fertilizer in there too. It's really weak, but it's in there. Looks pretty good. Then I'm going to add the moss. You don't wring it out when you put it in. Let it drain though. You don't squeeze it. I don't know if that was an equal part neither. Ideally, that's what I like, is equal parts. Or close to it. These pots here, they're really nice. They're going to sit in those trays, and they're going to be able to drain real nice right through here. So to show you how high I would normally put that second layer, I grabbed this this queen Pothos here, and What I would normally do is that second layer would be as high as the bottom of the plant. I'd be putting a bigger plant in a pot this size, obviously. But so I would take this out and I would probably loosen up these roots a little bit. And wherever this plant with the bottom would be sitting, that's how high my layer would be. That's what I would do normally. But most of these are just going to have cuttings put in them. So I'm just going to go higher. With the big pot though, that's where I'm going to be putting the golden pothos, the mother plant that we took all of those nodes from. I'm going to give it a nice new home, actually. I know I said I was going to leave it in here, but I'm going to give it a nice new home and give it a pole to grow up. It's never had that before. So I will be doing that. Which means in this pot, the layer is going to be just a couple of inches, about three inches, maybe 4. I want this to sit in here when I take it out. I want it to sit in there. So I'm going to put a couple of inches of this right in here. Guess I'll call this the base layer. First one was drainage. I guess, I don't know, I gotta come up with a name for it. The biggest difference between this and the layer that I put on next is no perlite. That's the biggest difference. Look at them roots. This will stimulate new root growth and help it to have a more natural structure, root structure. All right. I'll add a little bit of this down around the bottom. I'll pull that in place. Just a little. I don't want all that perlite floating. I don't want to see it. There's already some perlite and vermiculite, I'm sure, in that potting mix. But I don't want extra. Alright, so that's it for the second layer. For the third layer, add some more of the orchid potting mix. It's quite a bit. I'm going to add the whole bag. There was quite a bit of potting soil in there. Just letting the excess water drain out. I'm not squeezing it or trying not to compress it. I'll start putting this in. This is just pure potting soil. This will make it easier to stick the nodes in. So there were 4 layers in these pots. Alright, so I'm all set up inside. It's dark out now. So in total, 7 hanging baskets and 6 pots with posts or poles, whatever. I'm pretty happy. And tomorrow, or eventually, there'll be a light going up there. Where is that light? It's right here. Just one tube, 64K, 54 watt bulb. Keep sticking her over here. Have it on a timer. Try to conceal everything as best I can. I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy, happy, happy. And here they are. It's June. They did pretty good in the house. They were under that light, even though it was kind of cold. I did have some issues trying to keep the humidity up too. But yeah, this was what I was hoping for, and so I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna stick them under the porch for now, for the summer, and enjoy them. Let them grow out. And I'll probably keep the nicest ones for myself, a couple of them at least maybe, and it's more than I'm gonna want to bring in the winter, so hopefully I can find new homes for them, give them away as gifts or something. Yeah, here they are. And it didn't take much to do this neither. I mean, it's pretty simple. And here's one of the Hartleaf Philodendrons. Growing up, I changed the pole out. I'm experimenting with different types of poles and moss poles and stakes and things, but here's one of the Hartleafs. Did okay. Right next to it, I got one of the Philodendron Brazils. It's starting to grow pretty good too. They didn't do much for quite a while in the house, but now with the temperatures getting better and better lighting, they're starting to put out some good growth. The mother plant is right over here. It filled in pretty nicely. And I'll show you outside another one that I got. I'll show you one of the newer poles moss poles that I'm trying to experiment with. So this is the moss pole that I think I'm going to be using right here. I'm using these on a lot of them. This is a golden pothos I got right here, growing up it. It's just moss encased in a metal fencing, and I got a water bottle that slowly drips, so it keeps the moss moist, which is the problem I was having with the other poles. I just couldn't keep them moist.